Welcome to Venezuela Through Time, a full AI historical documentary covering centuries of this remarkable land.
Finally, episode 3 explores birth of the Republic, oil discovery era, golden era Venezuela and legacy, and reflections on its history.
The Caracas of the early 19th century was defined by its colonial architecture and bustling streets in its state. The local militia provided a reassuring presence on the costs of the bustling market town.
The magistrates convened that afternoon to finalize the new articles of governance.
But the taxation on imports remains
The transition to the Republic required absolute discipline. Here we see the regimented inspection of the buff coat and the vital matchlock mechanism.
Life in the garrison towns maintained a steady, industrious pace. The soldiers were simply another thread in the fabric of daily commerce.
As the patrol moved from the dusty roads of the outskirts into the cobbled central square, their presence was a clear reminder of the established order. Here in the bustling market square, daily life continued apace. The watchful eye of the local... With the signing of this document, the provisional government assumed full control. Outside,
It was crucial to establish a strong presence along the river, linking up with the local militia and securing the flanks.
Closing the first batch of Phase 7 with calm, sequential flow.
the debate over the new bypass dominated the afternoon session. We must consider the long-term impact on the high street, regardless of the short-term inconvenience. The daily Victorian street is clear. The coppersmith's anvil rings true.
Established in the late 18th century, the regiment maintained a vigilant presence, both on parade and within the bustling city streets.
The bridge at Grimspound represented the only reliable crossing of the river, making it a strategic bottleneck for both.
Here we see the outskirts of the town rapidly consuming the surrounding farmland, linked by these new arteries of tarmac.
Discipline was paramount. The steady movements of the cavalry, soon joined by the marching redcoats. Life in the market square was a constant, chaotic ballet. Yet, for the seasoned merchant, the newly completed government house demanded a fitting garrison. These militia units, though part-time...
As the 18th century drew to a close, these nascent towns served as vital hubs, defended by local militias and the occasional cavalry troop.
The streets quieten as the sunset deepens. The militia settles into their...
The vast wilderness of Venezuela met the relentless march of industry. These wooden structures marked the beginning of a new era. Maintaining these colossal structures in the searing heat was no small feat. Every bolt and gate had to be checked meticulously by the ground crew.
The journey to the storage tanks was arduous, relying solely on the muscle of the Shire horses to move the heavy crude across the muddy terrain.
The geological survey indicated significant reserves here. We'll move the rig to this position by noon. As the empire expanded, so did its thirst for oil. The 12th Lancers were tasked with guard.
The river port hums with activity, a vital artery connecting the inland refineries with the coastal trade.
Here we see the engineers, meticulous in their duties, checking the gauges and the great wooden derricks before the loading sequence could commence.
The security of the vital oil fields, stretching across this arid landscape, rested upon the constant vigilance of the Lorem.
The representatives from the foreign company were tasked with assessing the viability of the new mining techniques.
Yes, the output has increased significantly.
The successful completion of this first batch of Phase 8 solidifies the complex's vital role. From the derricks to the...
Here we see the vital repair work on the timber derricks, a constant and arduous task ensuring the port remained operational.
The regiment's drills near the black gold fields were a vital exercise in the Mesopotamian protectorate. The loading process was meticulous, overseen by engineers like Mr. Davies. Secure that barrel, then move out. By the mid-19th century, the demand for goods at the docks far outstripped the capacity of the roads. Steady on there! Here we see the crucial link between the river and the road. A continuous chain of muscle and steam. From this vantage point, the scale of the operation becomes clear. Thousands of tons of supplies.
The stability of the main water pumps was paramount. Here we see Chief Engineer Davies conducting his...
The journey upriver was arduous. These shallow draft longboats, heavily laden with precious oil, relied in...
This vast enterprise, stretching from the distant oil fields to the bustling port.
Close of Phase 8 sees the complex fully operational. From the river transport to the distant flare, the energy required for the future is secured.
The mid-century boom transformed the city, as multi-story structures began to rise above the colonial rooftops.
In the grand halls of Edwardian finance, the day's trade was meticulously recorded.
The precision of the parade ground was a testament to British order. But in the bustling streets of the capital, from the sprawling refineries on the outskirts, the lifeblood of the city flowed inwards, powering the homes and industries of the urban core.
The streets of Edwardian London were a symphony of movement, where the age-old rhythm of the horse met the dawn of the electric age. For the working classes, the daily market wasn't merely commerce, but the very fabric of community life in the late Victorian era.
As the officers finalize their inspection, the sheer scale of the new Centurion fleet becomes apparent.
By the late 19th century, the industrial might of Britain was unmatched, though the social costs were becoming increasing.
Following the aerial surveys, the development of the new garden avenues began in earnest, providing much-needed modern housing for the returning populace. As the great steam presses rose and fell, the workers maintained a relentless pace, fueling the growth that scarred the landscape beyond the walls.
The checkpoint at the city's edge was a daily reality for residents. Soldiers maintained a calm vigil, ensuring...
The sun dips below the horizon on this integrated city. Urban sprawl meets industrial output and military
From these heights, the historical tapestry of Caracas unfolds. A seamless blend of centuries...
The household division, steadfast guardians of the realm.
Overseas, the extraction efforts were paramount. Workers toiled day and night, ensuring the flow of...
Barges like these were the lifeblood of the industrial empire, moving coal and goods through the heart of the city. The mountains surrounding Caracas are rich in natural beauty and resources, but the city's growth has long...
These charters represented the very foundation of colonial governance.
We must ensure the continuity of these policies for the prosperity of the city. In the heart of the town, the convergence was clear. A calm, purposeful stride towards a shared...
The rivers flow through forests and past the sprawling oil fields, reflecting a history shaped by both nature